We're back for another episode of the 7 levels. We are going to cover the Sacral Chakra today, which I think is really amazing. It's a beautiful thing. That's why I got my orange. I got my little Dragon Ball going. So just like with all the chakras that we're doing, we're going to start off with the functions of it. Then we're going to go into imbalances, and then we're going to go into ways to balance it / activate it, and so forth. The Sacral Chakra, in my opinion, is one of the ones that's kind of overlooked a little bit, or it's kind of like not as popular as some of the other ones. So it can easily be, kind of misunderstood. I do hear a lot of, videos and teachers and guides, they talk about the sacral and pleasure. A lot of people say it has to do with pleasure and it has to do with, sexuality and stuff, and it does. But I feel like it's so much more than just pleasure. And then people are just like, oh, it's pleasure, tap into your pleasurable side, and guilt, feeling guilt is how it feels blocked. And I think there's a lot more to it than that. It's kind of telling not the whole picture, in my opinion. So this is my take on it. So take it or leave it, if you will. But let's get into the function of it, right? So with the first one, we talked about the root, right? We talked about your connectivity to here. Now, having that space, being able to feel grounded, being able to feel like you belong in a space. And now that you have that feeling, that piece of belonging, now we get into part number 2, which is the sacral, which is your connection, your connection as being one of the two, with all things. So your sacral is located like right below your belly button, and for good reason. Your belly button, as well as connection, it's how you connect to your mother, right? We all have a belly button. It's awesome. It's a truth about who we are. It's your navel, right? Orange navel. It's a truth to who we are and how we are ultimately connected to others. It's the reason why every species has more than just one version of itself. No species is just one animal, and there's just one animal, and that's all there ever was. It's the chicken and the egg kind of thing. Like every being has other beings that are a part of its species. Every duck or algae, whatever. Every human. There's any space we come into, there's going to be other entities or deities like us. That's just a truth. So with that truth being here, our sacral is our connection to the two. And it has to do with, yes, it does have to do with pleasure and stuff like that, but it has to do with so much more than just pleasure. And let me communicate that. So communicate, right? A lot of the sacral chakra, a lot of the words coexistence, codependence, community, communication, collective, correlate. A lot of these things have to do with the sacral chakra. So a number of things, right? So the way we coexist with others, right? In our community, we have, co-eds or whatever. So one aspect of it is our connection with others of the two, right? Other beings like us, right? We're not going to the ego yet. This is literally just one-to-one, right? It's the reason why plants have other plants, and it's not just like one plant of one species, right? There's an aspect to everything that has, everything is a multiple of something, right? So we have the human aspect, how we coexist or communicate or codepend on one another. And then we also have how we communicate and coexist and codepend with our environment, right? We need our environment to survive, just like we need people as well. We need others to survive. We couldn't just come here like, oh, I'm the first human and nothing has ever been created before and everything's going to work out perfectly. Like, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Like, it doesn't work like that. It takes all of us to make it happen. So understanding these things is understanding the functions of it, right? The functions as well have to do with your consumption of energy, right? Everybody needs to eat. Everything needs to consume in order to survive. You need to consume there has to be two things going on, right? You have to, all of this, right? It has to, both has to happen, right? Everything has to experience that thing between us, right? So, when you're in the womb, you're connected directly to the chakra. But out here, we're in the Godhead, and a lot of this goes through here. So the things that you consume are stored here in the sacral chakra. It is like your store of things that you consume, and for better and for worse, depending on the energy that you are consuming. It's stored here. So here's the gist of it, right? So this is like, I'm talking about the functions of it. I'm talking about the functions between you and others, right? It's why women have cramps and why we have sexual organs and stuff like that, and why babies come from, in this chakra down here. And it's actually pretty special that like this chakra is so powerful that it can create another life. It can produce another duplicate, in the feminine body, obviously. It's a pretty special thing. So a lot of this has to do with our relationship with the external, right? And the energy that's stored within. So let's get into some of these balances and imbalances. And maybe as I go through, I might kind of bleed over between like some of the functions / to some of the imbalances with some of the ways to activate it, because they all do correlate in some way. So hopefully it'll reinforce the idea of the message, so you can grasp the whole concept of the sacral chakra and not be left with like, oh, okay, like I kind of get it, but I kind of don't, because I want y'all to get it enough to where you can understand it for yourself, exactly what its functions are and how it operates. So that way you can understand, oh, okay, yeah, it seems like if I do this will probably help this out. You know what I'm saying? Or if I stay away from that'll help this out, rather than just kind of following like a book and being like, oh, okay, like let me put myself in more orange and that'll balance me out. There's more to it. So let's give you all the keys. Let's give you all the keys to this. So the imbalances, right? Consumption, right? Over consuming, that's an imbalance. Under consuming, right? It's an imbalance, or not having enough. Being famished. So let me get into this, right? The consumption state and everything, or the consuming and everything. In the pleasure side of it, they all really do have to go with how you interact with other things. And it all boils down to this right here. And these are the words that I'm gonna use to kind of help be the anchor words for what the meaning of this is. Because I could say pleasure and it's all about pleasure, and then being guilty is like what makes it out of balance. That's part of it, but that's not the whole thing, right? So more so than pleasure, more so than consuming, it's about satiation. Satiation. If I could sum it up in one word, satiation, right? It's that side of you that feels satiated, that feels like you had enough, or you haven't had enough, right? It's the feeling that is that balance, right? Of being satiated. It's the desire, that drive to eat something delicious, right? And it's the reason. Look at all of them. This is so cool. Hope y'all can see that. I suck at doing the camera thing while being on here. There's like 7 of them, just like the chakras. That's crazy. Anyways, it has to do with that satiation feeling. It has to do with the feeling of like, oh, like, like what they say, like in marketing or whatever, like when somebody tastes something for the first time, it's going to be the best that it tastes. And then every time they eat it after that, in that state, it's going to like give a little less of that pleasure, So that's kind of where that pleasure comes from, right? It's that feeling of like, oh, like, this is what gives meaning to life. The fact that this fruit tastes good. This is why, a pineapple is my favorite fruit compared to like a orange or something. Like, this is why you kind of like certain things or whatever. Certain things feel pleasurable. Certain things give you that reward, because that's what life's about. It's about feeling that. It's about, tasting good food. It's about having good company. It's about having good company, right? It's about having good experiences, right? Pleasurable experiences. It's not all about just like pleasure and sex and desire. That is one aspect of it, but that's not the whole thing. Pleasure can be abused in a lot of ways. People can over consume because they want to feel that pleasure of eating. They want to feel that pleasure of feeling full. They want to feel that pleasure of feeling whole, of feeling like they have everything they need internally, right? It is that pleasure, overindulgence in that will create that chakra to expand more. You have that bigger gut. Also, your gut feeling too, that's knowing your gut. Your gut feeling has to do with that knowing when enough is enough. And that knowing when enough is enough is the key. I'm gonna kind of keep saying that so y'all can kind of understand that this is the key to balancing out the chakra, knowing when enough is enough, and knowing that enough is enough, you know? And that's where your gut feeling kind of kicks in, you know? Your gut feeling is like, oh, maybe we should do something else, or, maybe we're going a little too far here, or like, wait, hold on, let me do a little gut check. Is this enough? Do I need this? So that satiation, right? All of us want to feel, you get your favorite juice or your favorite drink, and it's that, oh, damn, that feels so good. It tastes so good. But that energy, although you're experiencing up here, it's stored here. It's stored in the chakra. So understanding that it's a store for that energy, understanding that it holds that energy. It's the water, right? Like the feminine and the feminine body, the water that the baby is within. It's in that sacral chakra. It's all about that sacral chakra. So, when it's in a balance, you might feel indigestion. You might feel like you're not able to get out the energy. All the energy that you've been consuming is not able to pass. It's being stuck in here too much. You know what I'm saying? Or you might feel like gassy. You might feel kind of nervous. You might feel other imbalances, feeling empty, feeling like you don't have enough. That hunger comes from that. Hunger comes from that sacral chakra. That drive. That's why your stomach will growl at you. It's because your sacral chakra is not it's not being satiated. It's not feeling. There's a part of you that needs to consume. That part of you that needs to have that connection with your externally being able to consume. It's got to recharge that. Over excessiveness as well will do that to you. Let's see. And it also has to do on the human level, talking about the community side, like as far as you and other species, as you and the coexisting with them, those imbalances also occur as well. And that has to do with, the give and take of, your experience with others, right? Over giving or overtaking, and understanding the balance, understanding when enough is enough, understanding those boundaries, sometimes some people may feel disconnected from everyone around them, and it might lead them to feel isolated or depressed, and a good way to balance that energy. And we're kind of, talking about the ways to activate and balance is to give, practice giving, practice cooking for others, practice doing something for the community, kind of going outside of yourself a little bit, that'll help with your depression. That'll help with feeling a little bit more connected to others, as well as, if you feel like you're overgiving, you feel like you're a people pleaser, if you feel like you're constantly doing too much, and you feel, that you have too much of a connection with other people, or they feel too connected to you, or you're too available, sometimes it's good to practice those boundaries, to practice, kind of indulging in yourself a little bit more, and doing the things that you find pleasurable, taking some of your time back, taking some of your space back, practice doing those things, practice, abstinence of your time with other people, practice that abstinence. Abstinence is another thing as far as like learning how to balance the over excessiveness, of that sacral chakra. Fasting as well. But it's just like consuming, understanding, kind of portioning out is a good way to also balance out that sacral chakra. Maybe changing up some of the flavors that you have, trying to expand on different flavors, expand on different sensations that, are outside of the things that you are currently either too excessive, have in too much excess, right? Try to do other things in similar ways that are different, try different flavors out, try different things out. You might find something else that you like, and it might just be more about not having one thing that you just keep going to all the time, but having a number of things that you go to around the time, and kind of going from one to one and one to one and coming back around, as opposed to just being stuck too much in one spot and trying to get that desire, extract all the desire out of that one thing. So understanding your sacral chakra is understanding that balance, understanding when enough is enough. And then when it's out of balance, in certain ways you'll feel empty. And then you'll feel bloated, or you'll feel excessive, you'll feel slowed down. And that emptiness, you feel, detached from your body. If you deplete your sexual energy too much, you'll start to feel empty, even though you're trying to feel that desire of satiate yourself in those ways. If it's overdone, you will feel an empty sense of self, right? You will feel an empty attachment to your body. And then if done in excess, you'll feel too much of an attachment to your body. You'll be weighed down by your body. You'll be kind of like imprisoned by your body. Your body will, you'll be too attached to your body. So that sacral chakra is what connects you to your body, connects you to the body of the world and the other human bodies out here. And then once we get into the ego, once we kind of understanding the balance of community and the communion and coexisting and the two, the being grounded in now, kind of being in the world of others, like the school of fish and so forth, understanding that you're like a fish in a school of fish in a way, is that sacral energy playing out. Then we kind of get into the ego, which is the solar plexus, which also kind of has to do with your personality intermixed with everything, like who you are. Are you the alpha? Are you the beta or whatever? Like there's more to it, obviously, but just like the ranking system and like how energies play out in those ways. So the sacral right now, though, first, it has to do with that. It has to do with your consumption, your balance with the community, your balance with others. Are you someone who eats everything and leaves less for other people? Are you someone who gives too much and, are left with less for yourself? Are you somebody who finds a balance in between and understands the balance of like, abstaining and in that pleasure of indulging, But it's more than just the sexual desires, When we get up in the morning and our energy is raising up, yes, we are now, first we are in that lower sacral energy. First is that root. You got to get all that ish out, you know what I mean? If you are going to even be sexual, you can't be sexual and like be all bloated or constipated or have diarrhea, you can't be all sexual in that way. It's going to take out that sexuality. It's going to make you feel less in tune with your body, right? You got to get all that out. And then after that, then it's like, oh, okay, well, now you're in your sacral. Now it's like, okay, like, am I going for pleasure? You know what I'm saying? Your body, your energy is kind of there. It's rising up. So your energy is kind of there. So everybody in the morning is kind of thinking about that kind of stuff. And at night when the sun's setting. So awesome. Sunset. Sunset is orange, right? Has to do with that sacral energy, things that are setting, the things that are storing. When the sun is setting, it is like all the energy, all the things that happened in that day, now coming to a close, now coming to a point where it is now recorded in time. Now it comes to a point where it's now stored for the future, for tomorrow. So that's where your sacral chakra is. It's like that sun setting. It's like the storing of that energy. The energy that comes through here, now it's coming through here. You know what I'm saying? So it's understanding that part of things. Let's see. What else is there? I think that's mostly it. I mean, there's different like little like sayings and phrases that kind of have to do with your gut, following your gut, your connectivity with everything else out there, your lower mind, that your instinct, and understanding when like enough is enough, understanding that like, sometimes you don't got to go back for that second, third, fourth, sometimes it's better to wait, that's what makes it sacred. That's what makes it sacral, making sure that it's enough, not inflating the price of something, or not decreasing the price of something or decreasing the value of something by overindulging in it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's best to pull back a little bit and understanding that energy in that sacral chakra of kind of making something a little more sacred, of kind of making something have more of that juicy, ness to it. So, that's the sacral chakra. I hope that really helps to make it clear for y'all and make it easy for y'all to understand. So that way, when you're navigating through life, it's a lot easier for you to be like, oh, this is affecting my sacral chakra. I know why. This is like my stomach. This is my digestion. This is the energy that I'm consuming being stored here. You know what I'm saying? This is that community, that communication, whether it's, the physical side of connecting with other people or, the desire of wanting the feeling, the sensation of things, the sensation of things feeling good. And if you're out of touch with things feeling good, you got to get back into that sacral chakra. And, changing up the spices, changing up things, changing out different things, trying out different flavors. You're trying out things that will make you, instead of going to one thing all the time to find that desire, that satisfaction from that one thing over and over and over, maybe expand out to where you have different things. And now you can, try multiple things and have more of a balanced way of doing things, Even if you're a vegan or if you're a vegetarian or if you eat meat, you know, sometimes it's good to balance your diet out. You know, it's not to be religious and say, oh, if I eat one piece of meat, it's over. Or if I eat, you know, any this or this and this, I'm going to be a pansy. It's like, just balance it out. It's okay. We got multiple days. Like some day might just be veggie day. You know, some day might be fish day. Some day might, you know, but it doesn't all have to be one thing all the time. But understanding that balance, understanding that connectivity, and understanding how to balance that connectivity, and knowing when enough is enough, and not overtaking from out here, you know, and not trying to put too much of yourself out there. You know, it's about feeling like enough is enough, and being enough with yourself internally. So enough is enough. The key. Enough is enough. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. You know? I'm glad that enough is enough. If it wasn't, dang, that would surely be out of balance. Anyways, we have more coming up. Love y'all. Hope this made it clear for y'all. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the Sacral Chakra energy workers out there doing your thing. Take care. Love y'all. Peace.